Welcome to 5 Good Minutes.
You're listening to today's inspirational message
On the book of Romans with Kurt Bjorklund.
Romans chapter 8 is one of the most beautiful chapters in the scriptures, and for me, really one of the high points of studying, understanding God and our journey. And in verse 18, we have this statement that I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing to the glory that will be revealed in us. And this is a really simple statement, but is really one of those altering statements in terms of how we experience hardship in this world. In the New Testament, the word for suffering, pathema, is used of Christ's sufferings. It's used for believers' sufferings. And it is used for the way that the suffering of believers is bringing about something inside believers' lives. 1 Peter 5:9 talks about that. And so this is one of those phrases that is used to help us understand that suffering is inevitable. And I can't tell you how many times in my experience as a pastor, as a Christian, as a friend, I have come across Christians who are just dumbfounded that they suffer. They have felt like if they did things right, if they believed enough, that God would hedge them against suffering rather than seeing suffering as something that God uses. And this little phrase, I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth being compared to the glory that will be revealed. The I consider is the word logizomai, which is the same word that has been used earlier in Romans 4, to say that God counts it as righteousness. So now he's saying, I want you to consider or count that when you suffer, that this is not worth comparing with what is ahead, with the glory that is ahead. And the reason I say this is such a significant, altering perspective is because if you get this, if I get this, if this is my perception, then I am able to face suffering saying, one, it's inevitable, but two, it's not the end of the story. Because glory is ahead, and whatever I suffer now, if it works in me, anything that brings about the glory of God, then it is a beautiful and good outcome, although the suffering itself is not good and beautiful. And that's such an important distinction to be able to say that when we suffer, we're not rejoicing that we're suffering, we're rejoicing in the outcome. I consider that this isn't worth being compared, like this is short compared to long. I've told this story before in different ways, but if you were to be told that you had to endure a horrendous work environment, job, awful conditions, and you had to just, carry rocks all day pointlessly back and forth in driving heat, wind, rain, freezing cold, just day after day, just carrying rocks back and forth. And the rocks weren't used for any purpose. That was your task. And it was 14, 15 hours a day, no matter what, no breaks. You'd be like, this is awful. And if it just went on day after day after day, year after year after year, it would truly be intolerable. But if I said to you, hey, you're going to have this horrible 1-week job of carrying rocks, but after that, there will be, if you can endure it, if you can navigate it, if you can let it build character in you, there will be a $100,000 paycheck on the back end. Now, maybe you have enough money that $100,000 to you doesn't feel like it's that big of a number. And so if that's the case, then you should absolutely say, hey, this wouldn't be worth it. But for most of us, we'd be able to endure that hardship precisely because we knew what was coming. And that is the point here. If you know the glory that is ahead, that you will be a son, an heir of God, then the suffering that you walk through today will not have the same negative impact in your life. So today, wherever you are, can I just encourage you to take this statement and say, I'm going to count, I'm going to reckon, I'm going to consider, think it through that this suffering that I have today is not worth comparing with the glory that will yet be revealed.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.